Okay. Now, last week we started this course, okay, this is renewable and sustainable energy, and we revised the global situation of energy, and we make a definitions for energy, power, work, renewable, non-renewable. We brief each one of them, and we're supposed to design systems utilizing these sorts of energy, renewable energies, in the next few weeks. But uh, yeah, class. Okay. So today I will talk about sustainability. Okay, definitely you heard about sustainability in TV, in some, let me say, news, or in some movies, or even if you watch National Geography, you may see some documentary about sustainability. It's one of the hot points or topics, let me say, today. People talk about it. Okay, but you may have this query is why sustainability in level 4 semester 2, why renewable energy? Okay, what is sustainability phase and what to do with our work as an engineer? This is what we are going to discuss in this week. This week, I mean, still the introduction to the course. Next week we'll start with mathematics, design, calculation, equations, more technical. We will start with the course technically, but still I'm putting the basis for the course. So I will talk about this week about sustainable development, sustainability, the environmental, economic, and social corners or sides of the sustainability. Now, as introduction to this week sessions, you may ask, what is the course about? Renewable and sustainable. And simply we can answer that it's about us, earth, people, environment, and the quality of life, how we make them sustainable. Now, today is not enough for us as an engineer, regardless of our specialty. I mean, now in this course, chemical and electrical only attended. The past was civil plus mechanical attended this course, okay? And from my side of view, I think it's essential to attend such course in level 4, because the students just around to graduate, they completed the needed knowledge to solve a problem, engineering problems in their specialty. They need to add to this sustainability and energy, because they represent the most important, let me say, features and topics to be considered in the next, at least next 100 years. We need to consider energy consumption and utilization. We need to consider sustainability in whatever we systems we design, whatever system we operate or use. Okay, so and to start this discussion about where we are related to sustainability, let me start with social inequality. Okay, let me give you some statistics. Okay, now if we assume that the people on this planet is 100%, or let me say 100 people, okay, you know it is 7.7, around 7.7 billion, okay, but let's assume they are 100 only. Now if we classify them, then we will say 57 in Asia, 21 in Europe, 14 in North and South America, and 8 in Africa. Have a look at these numbers, because we want to see, is there any social equality or not? 70 of them non-white, 70 would be non-Christian, 59% of the world wealth owned by 6 people, all of them from US, 80 will live in substandard housing, 70 unable to read, and 50 suffer from malnutrition, 52 female and 48 male. One would own a computer. Imagine, you don't expect this, right? Today in 2021, you don't expect that there is one of 100 on a computer. Yeah, this is the situation. And this is it's really difficult to have education, college education, most of them below secondary school. So this is not, definitely you will say this is not social inequality. This is social inequality. There is no quality between them. The distribution of wealth, distribution of people on our planet is not, let me say, uniform, not homogeneous, it's non-homogeneous. So we need to make some development. Now here, okay, some photos talking about, I mean, try to compare social inequality. As you can see here, example, okay, you see here, rich people living here, poor people living here, right? See this tower, see people how look like their life. This social inequality, there is poor people, there is rich people, okay? So this is social inequality. We need to make, we cannot accept it. We need to make some change, because if this keep going, we will reach at the end that people start fighting everywhere on wealth and goods, right? So we need to make some development to make them more fair, more social equality, and more homogeneous. Now, let's assume we can do it, okay, by making a criteria. Let's say, as example, we are going to make the life on this planet, everywhere on this planet, similar to the lifestyle in UK, okay? Let's take UK as a example, and say we are going to make the lifestyle everywhere for all people on this planet similar to lifestyle in UK. What we need to do this, what we need to satisfy this, we need by 2050 1.5 to 8.5 of our Earth, okay, which is impossible. This is cannot be solved, okay? The technology need to be improved to consider this. We improve it in terms of technical, but we need to consider this in terms of equality and sustainability. Now, the same example for adapting UK as an example and try to make the lifestyle everywhere using UK style lifestyle, then we need energy equivalent to this number of planets. Cement available on planet 3 point something. Construction, aluminium, steel, land, wood, which is impossible. We don't have enough resources to satisfy this. We need to consider that we live in a limited resources world. We don't have all needed resources. So we have to adapt with this. We have to deal with this. We cannot, I mean, make the lifestyle similar to the situation in UK or US or other rich countries. But this doesn't mean we leave it. We need to look to solution for this problem. Now, if we come to development and we would like to put it in a definition, we will say it is the sum of our products. Your mic, please. Okay. It is the sum of our projects of our applications of technology. So we are talking about projects and the products, and these related to us as an engineer. And engineer involved in this because why we involved in this? Because first of all, option, we evaluate them. Criteria, we put them to the decision maker and to us as an engineer, and even we participate in taking the decision and execute it. So wherever you look, you will find the engineer there. Engineer is part of the development, sustainable development needed. And as example, if I ask mechanical and electrical engineering to work together to design and manufacture a vehicle, car, small car, okay? And they come after a while and they say, this is the car, we design it, but in terms of cost, it costs 100,000 Omani Riyal. Nobody will buy it because they did not consider the cost. Okay, they reduce the cost, but they came and say, but the pollution is unexpected. I mean, it's really polluted vehicle. Also, we cannot use it. You see? And then they come, it's supposed to be car vehicle for one person. And they design the car for 20 persons. Also, this is not accepted because it did not consider the social criteria. So it's not enough to solve a problem as an engineer. You know, we are an engineer, we solve problems. We are a problem solver, but it's not enough to solve the problem. If it is chemical problem, electrical, mechanical, civil, whatever it is, we need to consider the sustainability in what we are doing as an engineer. Now, sustainability or sustainable development based on three corners. These are economic, environmental, and social. We need to consider them. For three circles, they intersect. We need to consider them in our solution to our problems. As in chemical, as example, you work in chemical plant, you are looking to the chemical, you see the word chemically. We as an electrical engineer, we see the word electrical. Okay, we solve the problem in our specialty. This is not enough. We need to consider sustainable development. So I have to consider cost. I have to consider environment. I have to consider the social element. Now, these are the main three elements need to be considered to say that we consider sustainable development. Now, our discussion this week only on these. Okay. I will talk today about economic and social, and next session, I will talk about the environmental element. Definitely, while we do our projects in chemical and electrical, we need to look at the energy consumption and weight, at the water, if we need water or we don't need water, if we need water, how much the consumption, how much the waste, and the waste coming from our projects. We need to consider them because they have impact on the resources, on the environment, on the social and the cost. We need to consider them. Now, people, if they look to the social inequality and unsustainability in our world today, I will define it in the next few slides, but they look that this is a problem. What is the reason behind this problem? Who created this problem? And what is the solution? So if we want to classify this debate, we will say that there's two directions. One direction is technology and ecology. People think that the technology is magician. It can solve all the problems. Our problem to be solved technically by technology. Okay? This is some people looking in this way. Deep green domesters, they think that we are in trouble and we are taking the world down the hill, and soon disasters will happen everywhere, and it's look like a 2012 movie. If you watch it, if you don't watch it, please try to watch it, that the collapse everywhere and we lose our planet. Almost we are around to lose our planet. And the other direction, they look to the economic system. They think that economists, these are the economists, by the way, that it doesn't matter the sustainability, it doesn't matter the development or the pollution, economy. We look only to the economic. Tell me about how much it will be expensive and what is my revenue. So these are people looking to capitalism or to globalization. And the last direction in this second part of the classification is the Seattle protesters. Well, they think that we are the problem, we create the problem in our way, how we use the resources on this planet, how we deal with each other, countries, let me say communities, peoples. We create this problem and we are part of the solution. We're supposed to be part. and people have to take their part in solving the problem. Okay, it should be given again to the people to solve their problem, and everybody responsible to solve this problem. Now, let's see the global picture. I quote here some says for interested says actually. One of the first one is by the president of American Academy of the Advancement of Science. I will read it. He say, we are modifying physical, chemical, and biological systems. And when you see systems, mainly we are talking about engineer here, in new ways, at faster rates and over larger spatial scales than ever recorded on Earth. Humans have been willing to impact upon grand experiments with our planet. The outcome, but has profound implications of all of life. And we can see this. We can see the global warming. Now scientists agree there is a global warming, there is climate change, and CO2, as we are going to talk about this at the end of this course, okay? CO2 is the main contributor, and we are creating this problem by emitting CO2 because of our activity, human activities. It's well and solid proven by scientists. Also, now we live since 2020, almost 2020, with this pandemic. There is a huge debate and discussion about is it created by mistake happen in lab or not, and some people look or signing to this direction. It could be happened in lab, okay? And we know there is race between scientists, between countries, between organizations in creating these viruses. Long time back we know this, okay? What is the benefit? Now, much or huge amount of investment and money have been put in the last 40 years in creating weapons, nuclear weapons, and weapon can destroy not only the planet, our planet, 15 times multiplied by planets. I mean, imagine for what they want these, rather than it's being used for sustainability, for development of humankind, it have been used in a very bad way. Also, as you can see, the chemical, biological things they are using destroy the nature and so. The other say is published in New International in 2000, November 2000. I will read here. In the development north, we are each typically using 3-5 times as much of Earth resources as our fair share. As long as economic power is so unbalanced and the terms rate so skewed, the resources of the weak will always be appropriated to future the development of the rich. So our consumption for resources is not fair, and it creates non-homogeneous distribution of the wealth, and this creates heat, create wars, create many other bad things in the humankind, let me say, life. Now, you may say, okay, how can we change this? How can we change this? We can't change it by mainly by engineer, mainly, because you know the projects, humankind, the projects coming mainly from engineer. If you go to when you talk about technology, we are talking about engineer. If we talk about problems to be solved at home, in industry, in organization, in communities, in countries, it's coming by engineer, right? So if we consider sustainable development in whatever we are doing, it will make difference. I give example here before I talk about this chart. I give example here. Now, mobile phone consume fracture of what? Its battery. Its battery fracture of watts. Okay, so very small amount of power. And the same thing when we talk about energy in mobile phone, it's small device, small consumption. So let's assume it is 0.6 watt, the power. If we make improvement to make it rather than 0.6, 0.5 watt, you might say, okay, it's not a big issue. It's very small development. Yeah, But this 0.5 multiplied by billions of mobile phones, it make different. You got it? Make different resources, make different in energy consumption and power. The same thing could be said in any other sector. As example, here you can see, by the way, some people live with less than $1 per day. I mean, they earn $1, less than $1 or $2, and many countries, it's not one. I will show you some statistics in the next, let me say, slides and discussion. But if we look to some improvement here between 1987 and 1998, because of development, because of a transition from one lifestyle to another lifestyle, new components came, a new way of dealing with things, a new way of manufacturing things. It's reflected on many other sectors. Here I will give example, as example, life expectancy improved. You see, from 60, this green, it means everywhere improved. You see, it's get improved because of our development. Humankind start develop. Example. In the past, people, they use animal for transportations. Okay. Today they use car, vehicles, plane, different of way, train of transportation. In the past, people have less access to medicine. Today, we have a good access to medicine. In the past, many diseases have no, let me say, medicine. Today, they solve it. Scientists discovered medicine for many diseases, and so on. This will reflect on many other, let me say, sectors in our world. This is example of world improvement over the last 30 years. Infant mortality improved. As example, adult literacy rate improved. We make improvement. We can see that the situation become better and better, and the picture, rather than was black, it become white. This is example of the situation talking about 1990. It's old data, 30 years back, and it's talking about population and poverty. Okay, people who live with less than $1 or $2 per day in many countries. I don't want to read. You can read these countries. Some of them here, some of them in South America, some of them in the East, and so on. So you can see the percentage. As example here, 40% live with less than $1. Another 40, around 40% with less than $2 per day. This is not sustainable. Okay. Plus, we can see that eco footprints of our activities already there. Okay, we can see that there is foods, there is, because of climate change, there is shortage of food and wood infrastructure, more CO2 coming emitted from our industry. Even here, if you compare Sohar 20 years back from now, I came 20 years back to Oman, to Sohar. I settled in Sohar. I remember the situation totally different. We've been talking about there. It was only Al Jadida store. If you remember, some of you still young, I don't know if you remember or not. Al Jadida store, few roads, no bridges, small old industrial area. Today we can see that there's growth in industry, growth in population. Many bridges came, many malls came, and the situation is totally different. Industry become larger and large. It's good from one side, but we need to consider also the other corners. These are the social, economic, as I mentioned, and the environment. So as I mentioned, there is shortage in many sectors because of our using for the resources available in our nature. As example, world fish resources, we have collapse in this. Global warming, climate change, we can see things change. We will talk in 1 week at the end of this semester about climate change and its relation to energy, and what is the situation in the region, what it was and what happened now. Okay, terrorists increase because these people, okay, psychologically they think that their problem because of the rich people. Okay, they are upset from the social inequality. They are upset from the way of the world moving, and they think that by adopting this direction they can solve the problems. And where do these trends? Okay, this will the next session this week, inshallah, I will talk about what are the options facing humankind. So where we are going. If we continue with this, we will see failure in resources, poverty. We will see that people, they will start fighting on the wealth, on water and food mainly, okay, and collapse everywhere. So the new generation, when they come, they will not find enough resources to cover their needs, because we not only consuming our share, the future, let me say, generation shares. So let's come to define the sustainable development. I wrote usually here the references from where I took these definitions. Let me start with the first one in 1987. This definition: sustainable developments meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So we should use our needs by using our share without distortion to the resources of the new generation. Only what we need. So it should be used in a wise way. As example, if we want a product, we should look to the raw material we use to produce this product. We don't say we don't care. Same as example, if we want to generate electricity, we don't come and say, okay, we are going to burn the plants, okay, in the forest just to generate electricity, regardless what we lose there. No, we need to think twice before taking decision what resources and how much resources we are going to use. And you know, you're supposed to know the meaning for sustain and sustenance, okay? We are not talking about, let me say, having food to become physically able to do work. No, we are talking about sustainability, how we make sure that we will stay on this planet. We and other generation, new generation came. And if I would like to give example, I can say, let's compare between Dubai and London in terms of needs. As example, if we surround Dubai or surround London, okay, we don't let anything coming from outside. Can they survive? Can they sustain in their cities? As example, can they provide food, water, energy? If we come as example to London, they have water, they have resources, so they have energy, and they have food. Okay, they don't need to bring something from outside. They have everything needed. Okay, but if we come to Dubai, they have energy. Sea is closed. They can do desalination, which is costly at the end, but still okay. While in London, it's not costly because water, it's raining most of the time. I live there and I know what's the situation there. But if we come to food, Dubai almost brought most of their food from outside. You got it? So they cannot sustain. They need to look to sustainability, how they make sure people can stay and they provide their needs in terms of energy, water, and food. This is the meaning of sustainability, how we make the people on this planet sustained and stay for hundreds of years from now. Now, another, let me say, another definition, I will read it. I will not spend much time here on this definition because I want to go to the next point. A dynamic process which enable all people to realize their potential and improve their quality of life in a way which simultaneously protect and enhance the Earth life support system. We can't see people start thinking about this, thinking about waste and how they can recycle it, start thinking about awareing community about the resources, about how important that they need to save the resources, as example, water or electricity. Even today we can see the plastics in malls. Okay, they look to have them, let me say, not hurting the environment, so they can recycle them. So these initiatives everywhere in many countries, in many communities, because they think it's important, and it is. Now let's come to the three corners of sustainable development. We mentioned that it's social, economic, and environment. Now for economic, let's raise these questions. What things cost? As I mentioned about the example of car. We don't want to manufacture good car, but cost 100,000 Omani Riyal, nobody will buy it. And how to make business out of providing infrastructure, good or service. The economic crisis occurred in 2008, in 2014, and 2020, another economic crisis occurred because of it coming with a pandemic. We need to think how we cross it, how we refresh the economic, how we create new opportunities for humankind in countries, the young people, how we can help them and support them to get the job opportunity. You will graduate soon, you will feel this because you are going to look for opportunity to work somewhere. And for environment, we need to look to the impact of our activities on nature or earth. Don't only focus on solving your engineering problem in your specialty. Think, what is the impact of this solution on environment? Okay, we don't want to solve a problem and create another one. Social, how those things serve the need and quality of life and people and their community. We don't want to solve a problem and create, let me say, or design system which only useful for rich people. As example, in medicine, we have medicine for a disease, but only rich people can use it because costly. This is not fair. This is not good impact on social because only limited people will use it. Okay. Now, for social dimension, I will start with the social, which is the difficult one. Okay. Social is the difficult one because it's really difficult to measure it. What are the criteria you put to measure the impact, social impact of your project or your solution or your system? This is really not easy task to be considered. But at least we have here general discussion, and you can look in more deeply details if you need it in your future project when you graduate and work somewhere. And if we want to measure it, how to measure, define and measure, we will say nurturing community, equitable social environment and well-being. These need to be considered. How can we consider them? There is a 5 capital approach. It's called 5 capital. Okay, this approach makes subdivision to the social dimension. Okay, we will go through them, but more details, more equations available in many resources. You can adopt this part or that part. There are 5. If you adopt all of them, that will be great. It will have a great impact on your project. But at least you need to know this 5 capital approach. The first one is financial capital. Okay, financial capital. You need to look to the money, the investment, the cost of the system you are going to use to solve the problem. This is important because it's affect who will use it, the system you are creating or designing. So related to social dimension. Human capital. Human capital talking about staff, about skills, about health, about moral, about values. See how you can link these dots. Social capital. Social capital, we are looking to the community, to the culture, okay? Suppose wealth, as example, in civil engineering, let me give example. When you design building, how can we consider the social dimension in our design? We don't want to design the building in a way that people they don't meet. As example, we can make a park so people can meet. We can make, let me say, a cafeteria in the building so people can meet. So here we considering the social, and you may say, okay, what is the point? Improving the social will reflect in many different things. Okay, another example on social here. One study in one organization, United Kingdom, talk about they make a study, internal study, to see how they can make development and improve the efficiency of their staff. So what they did, they found that there are many break, coffee break, tea break, morning, afternoon, lunch break. All these breaks is time consumed. It takes maybe 1.5 hours. Okay, so they reconsider, and to reduce this loss of time, what they did, they came and they closed the cafeteria. Because in cafeteria, people are meeting there, drink coffee, or let me say, eating their breakfast or something, lunch. Okay, spend some rest, and then back to their offices to work. And after a while, when they close it, they found that the efficiency reduced rather than it's improved. They make another study, and they found that people, when they met in the cafeteria, okay, in the cafeteria, what happened is they talk about their, let me say, system problems. They share their ideas, and their colleagues, let me say, gave their opinion. This is from one side, with their create a good support and good knowledge transfer. And from the other side, when they come to the cafeteria, they found themselves more relaxed, and they back motivate to their offices, so they got improvement to their efficiency. So they decided, this organization, to return back the cafeteria and to improve facilities there, to encourage their staff to go there. So this is the social. We need to consider it. I mean, in our design, we only look to, if you are electrical, we look to the power, energy, current, voltage, blah, blah, blah. This stuff, power factor, whatever it is. You in chemical engineering, you look to the chemical process, the reactor, the equation, chemical equation, and so this is our work as an engineer, now our specialty. But from there are other sides need to be considered to make our projects are successful and our problem solving is correct. The other issue is the natural capital. We're talking about environment, diversity, landscape, and man-made capital. We're talking about the infrastructure and buildings. These need to be discussed in more details if you want to consider them in your solution. Now, some question I raise here, and this is my last slide in this session, is social dimension. You need to raise these questions and look how you answer them in your particular project. How we define social sustainable product. I mean, my project, I make a circuit to solve a problem, electrical circuit. But how I define social sustainability for my circuit? This is question need to be answered. What social objectives should infrastructure projects take account of in choosing sustainable option? We need to put here the objectives of the infrastructure. Does including social component help deliver sustainable engineering solution? Also, in some projects, you maybe social, the weight for social is very low. By the way, it doesn't mean we have social, economic, and environment that we split the distribution, the weight for them is 1/3 for each one of them. No, no. It could be less in social, more in environmental, or in economic. So it's different from project to project. And how do we consult properly with local communities? And this is my last point. I will stop here and listen to your question. Do you have any question here? Still, this is introduction. I'm talking about sustainability. Next session, I will continue with the environmental and economic and the options facing humankind. And when we finish this, next week, we will start with more engineering and technical skills, equations, formula, design, calculation, more math, let me say environment. Do you have any question until this point? Okay, I will stop here and finish the session. Have a nice day and see you in the next session. Goodbye.
Thank you, Doctor.